Well, hello, my friend. It's me, Stu, here for you. And today we're going to talk about the best way to grow your audience. And in fact, that's actually where I'm going to start is making a very important distinction in terms of what I mean by growing your audience. Because let's face the facts. No matter where you are on your business journey, we all need to grow our audience. If you are in the earlier stages, right? Well, audience is everything because it's really hard to sell anything if you don't have anybody to sell it to. So, growing your audience is super imperative if you are in the beginning, early stages of your business journey. But as the journey continues, it doesn't lose any importance because in the way in which you grow, if you don't grow your audience, the amount that you'll be able to grow each year shrinks because your audience size essentially as you gain, if all things stay the same and you've got, let's just say 1,000 people in your audience, and this year you welcome 100 customers and next year you only have 900 potential people to sell to. So if you don't grow the audience size shrinks. And so it doesn't matter where you are in your business journey, growing the audience is so imperative and so important. Now, let me just quickly say hello to everybody. Anna, good to see you. Marlise, good to see you. April's in the house. Tammy, Remy, Zaina, Rose, the one and only. Dorissa, Maria, Tracy. Great to see all of you. Thanks for jumping on. So here's what I want to know. As we dive into this, let me know, are you in the beginning stages of growing your audience, or are you, have you been doing this for, let's say, a year, and or have you been doing this for more than, let's say, 2 years? So put 1 in the comments if you're in the very beginning stages, 2 in the comments if you've been doing this for a year, and 3 in the comments if you've been doing this for more than a year. 1, 2, or 3. Let me know in the comments where you are at. Peter says he is in the beginning. Tammy says year. Thank you for that. Great. So Terry says, so she's been doing it for a year. Shamika, great to see you, my friend, has been doing it for more than a year. Great. Anna's in the beginning. Caitlin's in the beginning. Leah is further down. Nona's further down. Tina's a year. Great. Okay. So awesome to see kind of where everybody is at. And here's the thing that I want to make a distinction around right from the get-go. And this is really, really important to understand and grasp this, especially as it relates to us using our audience and our list to grow our business. That is this. There is a difference between growing an audience and growing an email list. Let me say this again. There is a major difference between growing an audience and growing an email list. And we can get into the nuances, but let me just boil it down to its most simple difference. And this is a big fundamental understanding. When we are growing an audience on, say, platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse, whatever platform that we may think of, Twitter, right? All these different platforms, no matter where we are growing the audience using these platforms, it's always rented land, so to speak, meaning we don't own that audience. We don't own that platform. And so at any one point in time, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whoever could just say, you know what? Your account's shut down and bye-bye all of that time, energy, and effort in growing that audience. Now, is there a high probability that that will happen? No, but there's always that probability. And so when we're thinking about our audience, we want to think about the purpose of growing the audience and contrast it to the ultimate thing that we are looking to grow, which is our email list, because that's an asset that we own. It's rented land versus owning the land, right? Renting the land versus owning the land. Huge difference. And what it does is it changes your mindset around how you approach growing your audience. So For example, am I suggesting that we shouldn't be putting effort and energy into growing our audience? Not at all. What I am suggesting is that we get real clear on the purpose of the platforms we use and the impact that they will have on helping us grow our business. Shamika just said, this is what happened to her on Facebook in 2017. So thank you for sharing that, Shamika. And here's the thing. It can happen. It has happened. And so we want to be mindful of it as we begin to move forward and grow our business. Now, just out of curiosity, in the comments, let me know what platforms are you using currently to grow your audience. So I'll give you mine. So we started when I was growing my current audience, which you're a part of. So amazing. High five to you. We started solely on Facebook. So that was that's all we focused on was just Facebook. After some time, that audience grew. We expanded to Instagram. We expanded to YouTube and a podcast. So that's kind of where we've grown in terms of where our focus is. So Facebook for Tammy, Instagram, and Facebook says Lynn. Stacy says Facebook and Instagram. Facebook says Tracy. Dorisa says Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse. Peter, Facebook and Instagram. Catherine says Facebook, Instagram, and Constant Contact. Great. I'd love to see the email there. Jerome says ConvertKit. Awesome. Facebook. Alexander says YouTube. Great. Okay. Leah says Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Great. Thank you for that. Great. Another platform for sure. And Jeff said here too, this is another example. Jeff's great to see you, Jeff. Said YouTube killed my account in 2011. No reason, no recourse. And so this is just something that we want to be mindful of. Okay. So great. It's thank you for everybody participating in the comments and sharing. So this is the first thing that I want to talk about as it relates to what's the best way to grow your business is first understanding the purpose behind what it is that we're trying to do. And so in its most simplest form, growing an audience on any of the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, a podcast, etc. It's all it is the difference between renting versus owning land, right? So when we're growing it on these platforms, we're simply renting the land. We don't own the platform. We don't own the audience. So the ultimate goal is to create an asset for our business that we do own, and that is a email list. So ultimately, the goal is always to leverage the platforms to grow the email list. Leverage the platforms to grow the email list. And there are a whole bunch of different ways to be able to do this. What we need in order to do this effectively right from the get-go is we need some assets like a list builder, which is simply a free, sometimes, we'll make a distinction here. A list builder, which can either be free and or paid, that people put their email in if it's for free, or they purchase if it's paid. And now we have a list of either email subscribers and or buyers, right? So we need to have something. You need to be able to drive people to something. Now, one of the things that I will share is that when we're thinking about a list builder, I guarantee you almost always people way overthink what the thing needs to be. So I'll give you an example. So yesterday, this has been, we've been discussing this idea that I'm about to share with you for a couple of weeks, but my wife, she's in the midst of launching a brand new membership site. So she's working on a membership site. She's going to be launching it soon, but it's in a completely new market. So we have zero audience, zero list, nada, nothing, zilch, starting from absolute scratch. And so we're about to do what I'm sharing with you here, and that is we're creating a list builder. So one of the things that I did was I went into a Facebook group that is definitely targeted on the subject matter. So for example, like what this membership is going to be about is my wife has been getting a lot of questions from people who have been asking how we have created a luxury Airbnb. And Amy, my wife, is amazing at this because she loves and is super good at creating experiences. So for her, what's happened is that she poured her energy into creating this amazing experience, which has allowed us to charge double, if not triple, the average night stay in our local area. So premium pricing. And as we are coming up on the 1 year anniversary of this, we are booked solid. Because what happens is that guests that came last year are rebooking. So the number of nights available shrinks dramatically for everybody else. And so what's happened is like the calendar just gets booked out like lickety split. So people have been asking, like, how are you doing this? Like, how did you create this amazing experience? And she gets peppered with questions like, where did she find this? And how did she source that? And all this stuff. And I said to her, I'm like, this is an indicator. Like when you're getting questions like this on a regular basis, like that's a huge indicator that there is interest there for membership. So she has begun exploring this idea. Now, we're just at the very beginning stages of this. So again, 0 audience, 0 list. So then the question became, okay, well, how do we begin building this audience and building this list? So I went into a Facebook group that is on, short-term rentals and vacation rentals, etc. And just scanning the group for about 5 minutes, I could immediately pinpoint a whole bunch of different ideas for a potential list builder that would be a smoking home run hit. For example, I'm cruising the comments and I see a question that says, does anybody have any suggestions for different apps that are, useful for somebody managing or hosting a short-term rental? And all of a sudden, like all these different comments are listed on below of different apps and resources for the check-in process, for sourcing this, for that, like all these different apps related to this particular market. That's a super powerful and easy idea for a list builder. Now, does it need to be like a big complex, like, 10, 20 page thing? No. It could simply be a 1-page document, but that 1-page document is super powerful and helpful, right? So this is just an example of like one simple idea from going into a related Facebook group, seeing questions that people ask and letting that be the source of creativity that sparks ideas for a powerful list builder. Now, this is an example of a free list builder, and there are also examples of a paid list builder. Now, why would we want to create a paid list builder? Well, that enables us to do one of two things. One, advertise, to then, number 2, build a list of customers versus just subscribers. So it's a completely different approach. And this is one of the things that I want to talk about. Like when we talk about the best way to grow an audience, it just depends. It depends on you. It depends on where you are, and your journey depends on, what you have available to you. But the most important thing is that you start moving in a direction by creating an asset. And that asset is a list. Either an email list or a customer list. Now, when it comes to the different ways in which we can think about how do we grow our audience, I love to simplify things as much as possible. I typically put it into 2 buckets. There are either free strategies or there are paid strategies. Free strategies or paid strategies. Now, free strategies can be, again, using the platforms like all the different social media to drive traffic to our list builder, right? And there are a ton of different ways in which we can leverage these platforms. There's different techniques and strategies that some work way better than others to be able to build that audience and build that list. But the key thing with free strategies is that it takes time. That's just one thing to note, like, especially if you're starting from scratch, it just takes time. And even if you aren't starting from scratch, it takes time, right? Like, when it comes to growing a list, doing it through free social media platforms, it takes time because not everybody following you is going to see it. For example, like I see Lisa just said here, so happy to see this live. after I just finished my podcast interview, which is awesome. Great. But by the way, high five on your new membership. So Lisa just happened to see this live, which is great. And all of you watching and listening live have joined live and saw it in your feed. But there are literally hundreds of thousands of people who are not going to see this live. Now, hopefully, Facebook shows it to the majority of people, but the truth of the matter is they're not going to, right? So this is the challenge with free platforms. We are at the mercy of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So free is great because it costs nothing, but it takes time. Now, in the beginning of my career, I had more time than I had money. So, that was the path upon which I took. I invested more time. I invested more time into growing the audience and leveraging the audience to then build the list. Later on down the road, though, because I'm further along in the journey of our business, we have more resources available to us, which is why we also invest in paid strategies. So we invest in advertising, we invest in other ways, which we can talk about here in just a minute, all of which they cost money, but they reduce the time. So there's no right or wrong in terms of like the approach that you take. It's taking the approach that is right for you. If you are don't have the financial resources available to be able to invest in, no problem. Just know that it's going to require more time, and that's where you're going to invest it. But the key is to invest it and focus it on specifically growing the audience. And the key to that is going to be consistency. If you have more financial resources, then you invest in, different paid strategies. Now, so all of which, don't eat peanuts before you're about to go live. So the key, though, is that we want to grow an audience. We want to grow an audience that we own, a list that we own. And so the other thing that I will share with you is that when it comes to growing your audience, many times what happens is that we try a whole bunch of different things simultaneously. And one of the recommendations that I have is I would much rather encourage you to try one thing consistently for a period of time. Try one thing consistently for a period of time. So let me give you an example of this. 5 years ago, when we were starting our business, it was a new business, brand new business then, which is our Tribe business, which is our training company and software company. I didn't have an audience at that time. I was starting from complete scratch. And we decided to focus on one platform at the time, which was Facebook. And we decided to get consistent in growing that. Now, here's what I did. For 30 days straight. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to do this. I'm sharing with you what I did. But for 30 days straight, my brother-in-law and business partner, he challenged me to do a Facebook Live every day. Now, I remember at the time, I was like, dude, like, I can't do a Facebook Live every day. And he's like, Stu, I've seen you talk. Yes, you can. And I'm like, no, where am I going to come up with all the ideas for what to talk about during a Facebook Live every day? So we implemented something that immediately made it very, very easy for us to be able to have fresh ideas for consistent content that we could create to help us grow the audience, which then helped us grow our list. And what we did was I started by first listing out 10 questions that I could answer on the topic that I was looking to build an audience around. So in my case, my area of specialty is helping people launch, grow, and scale highly profitable memberships. It's what I was doing before we started building this audience. It's what I do now. And so I know exactly how to help people launch, grow, and scale highly profitable memberships. So that's what I focused on. So I just made a list off the top of my head of the typical questions that I get asked about launching, growing, and scaling profitable memberships. So I listed them out. Then that gave me a 10-day runway for topics, for questions that I could talk about. Now I did, when I say every day, I should be specific. I meant every day during the week. So not on weekends. So that gave me essentially 2 weeks of content. Okay. So then every day, Monday through Friday, I would go live and I would start with the first question. And that would be like essentially the title of the Facebook Live. And in the beginning, there was like nobody watching, right? Like, you know how it is, like when you're beginning and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, is anybody watching? But I kept doing it anyway. So, in the beginning, hardly anybody's watching. But slowly but surely what happened is like the audience started to grow. And it wasn't like a massive growth, right? Like it was like, in the beginning, it was like, 2-3 people watching live. Then it went to like, 3, 4, 5 people live, then 10 people live. Then, by the end, I was roughly getting around, 20, maybe 30 people live. And some might say, yeah, but Stu, is that really worth it? Like 20, 30 people live? But here's the thing. We underestimate what creating that content does. Because in that, what was going on was that it wasn't just the people watching live, but also the people that were watching after I was live. And the replays would have hundreds of views. Now, I don't know how that happens. Like Facebook somehow like puts it in front of the right people. And I don't know. I didn't have hundreds of people following me. But this is how it all began. Now, the interesting part was we did exactly what I'm sharing with you. I created a list builder. And it was a free, in this case, it was a free 1-page marketing strategy plan. And so during every live, I would instruct people to go to this particular URL to go and get this 1-page strategy plan. And so I would answer the question, then I would tell them about the strategy plan, and then people would go and they would sign up with their email. So this was a free list builder. Now, in the first message, now here's a key distinction. I want you to pay attention here. In the first message that somebody would get from me after they had signed up, obviously I thanked them. Obviously I delivered on the free 1-page, strategy plan. But at the bottom of the email, I included a PS statement. And the PS statement said this. It said, PS, what is the number one question that you have as it relates to launching, growing, and scaling your membership? Hit reply and let me know. So I didn't have a massive audience, right? So I didn't have like thousands of people emailing me every day or anything of that nature. I was just like, somebody hit reply, like it'd be maybe like 1, 2, 3 emails a day in the beginning. But slowly but surely what was happening was I was getting responses and emails back, and people were telling me exactly what their number one problem or challenge was. And guess what this became? This became the basis of the content that I then was using to consistently produce Facebook Lives every single day. So when people get twisted up thinking like, how am I going to do that? Like, how am I going to create like consistent content don't make it hard on yourself. Just make it easy. First, start with 10 questions that typically come up that either you have been asked, or go into other Facebook groups that are related to your market and just look at like, what questions are people asking? Like that, just make a list of 10 questions. And then every day when you are live, mention the URL of your list builder. Okay. And in that first email that people get from you, have a PS that says, PS, what's your number one question about blank, whatever it is that you help people with? Hit reply and let me know. And from that day forward, you're going to get consistent replies from people who are giving you on a silver platter the basis for content you can create as you grow your audience. So I see a couple questions about like, did I do this in a Facebook group or was it on my Facebook page? Back then, It was on a Facebook page. So we started a brand new Facebook page. It's the Stu McLaren Facebook page that, you're likely subscribed to if you're watching me on Facebook, but it was the Stu McLaren Facebook page. That's where I started. Didn't have a Facebook group in the beginning. Started with a Facebook page. So that's kind of how it all began, right? And so if you're in the earlier stages, can you do this? Well, yeah, you 100% can do this. And if you're further down the road, here's what I would also say to you is like, can you do this as well? 100% you can. Because the other side of this is that when those people are hitting reply and they're letting you know their number one pressing question as it relates to your topic, you're also getting this back and forth engagement. And I don't know all the technical whiz bang doohickeys as it relates to email ISPs and all that kind of stuff. But what I do know is that the more people engage like that, the more your email gets delivered. Because it goes from like being a promotional email to now like Gmail and all that, they view this as like, oh, there's a conversation happening here. So we should put this in their inbox. And so it immediately increases the deliverability of future emails. So you see how this is like full circle? No matter where you are in your journey, you can use this. Now, this is an example of like how in the very beginning, we just started with what we had available to us. Like no matter where you are in your journey, like this is the thing that I always want to encourage. Start with what you got available to you right now. Like if you don't have the financial resources to pay for ads, no problem. Use what you do have. But don't ever stop in your tracks thinking that, I gotta wait before I do X until I have Y. No. You and I, we just need to get creative. We just need to get resourceful. And most importantly, we just need to get going. Now, as time goes on, what's going to happen is that you never stop looking to grow and build your audience, ever. Because it is something, as I said, like I'll just do a simple diagram here. Like let's say you built an audience to 1,000 people. Okay, so you've got your audience all the way up to 1,000 people. And let's say that you sell your product, your membership. Okay, actually, yeah, let's just say you sell your, after that year, you've built your audience to 1,000 or your email list. Let's just stay with your email list. You built your email list to 1,000 and 100 of those people have become customers. Okay. So I'm just writing this down for you. How many people, if you don't grow your audience, do you now have available to sell to? So assuming that you stop growing your audience, there's no growth whatsoever. You had grown your audience to 1,000 on your email list. 100 of those people now become customers. Now going into the next year, how many potential customers or on your email list will you have available to you? Anybody know? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? You build your list to 1,000, 100 of them become customers, assuming no growth. How many do you have to market to? Okay, so I see some guesses coming in. Fantastic. Stacy hit the nail on the head. Simple math. 1,000 people, if 100 of them become customers, and there's zero growth, that now leaves 900. Now, let's say you do a phenomenal job next year. And by the way, this conversion rate would be 10%, right? But let's say in the next year, you get even better at what you do, and your conversion rate goes up. Your conversion rate goes up. Let's say it goes up to 11%. and things stay the same, and you welcome another 100 customers. How many are you left with going into year 3? So if you had 900, another 100 of them become customers, and there's no new audience growth. You're now left with 800 that you can potentially market to. So what's happening is that if you do not grow this number, like if you do not grow your audience, the number of people that you have available or that you can potentially market to shrinks year after year after year. Now, yes, they 100% could buy other products and services, 100%. But the reality of it is, and this is my point in this, is that it becomes harder and harder to not only maintain growth as it relates to customers, because now you've got to improve your conversion rates just to maintain the same number of customers each year, but the audience keeps shrinking. So you have fewer and fewer potential buyers if you do not grow your audience. And my point in sharing this is that no matter where you are on your journey, this is why we have to be focused and committed to growing our audience. It's something that as a business owner, we have got to obsess about. Whether you are in the beginning stages, whether you have crossed a 1 year into your business and you're into a rhythm, or you're a much more seasoned business owner, you've been doing this for a while, the need to grow the audience never stops. So here's what I want to suggest to you. There are a variety of different ways in which you can grow your audience. And there's no right or wrong way, because there are going to be different strategies that are going to be more effective for different people, right? And again, it's always based on like where you are in your journey, what do you have available to you, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that we did last year was we started a new membership for our charity. Now, why would I be talking about our charity when we're discussing audience and list growth? Well, because last year during COVID, our charity experienced some challenges. And I don't know about you, but I get most creative when I am experiencing the most challenges in my life. And the same was true here, because with our charity, the primary way in which we raised money for all of the projects that we have going on in Kenya was through live events. Well, now, of course, during COVID, there was no live events happening. And so therefore, no fundraising was happening. And therefore, the projects that we were working on came to a screeching halt. So we got creative. And we had an idea for a long time to launch a membership site. And a membership site that specifically focuses on this topic: growing your audience and email list. And we launched it last August. And it is called Audience Builder Academy. And this is exactly what we focus on. Each month, we unpack one highly effective audience and list building strategy. Now, each month, we have a guest expert who comes and shares their most effective audience and list building strategy. And then I unpack it. I grill them. I'm getting specifics. I'm asking like, what are they doing here? How are they doing this? How are they doing that? And we unpack it so that you walk away with a strategy that you can immediately implement in your business. The other fun part about this is there is such a variety in terms of the different types of strategies. So already inside the membership, when you go to audiencebuilderacademy.com and you join, you'll find masterclasses that are talking about how to leverage podcasting if you have a podcast, and how to leverage that to grow your audience. And some of those strategies that were taught, by the way, by Pat Flynn were amazing. I've had a podcast for years, and little nuances that he was talking about to drive that traffic from that platform to build your email list. But there's also a masterclass in there from John Lee Dumas, who was talking about how to leverage other people's podcasts, how to get on other people's podcasts who have an audience to then build your email list. We've talked about Tracy Harris, who was unpacking her strategy for leveraging Instagram. And again, both your own Instagram audience, but also other people's Instagram audiences. There was an amazing session taught by Thembi, who you may or may not know. And this is the whole point of this particular masterclass, is she's built audiences in completely different markets, starting from scratch, using one particular strategy she calls her Escalate method. And she unpacks it in this particular training, and it's incredibly valuable. If you are in the earlier stages, like that one right there, that one masterclass right there is worth its weight in gold. We talked to Rachel Miller about how to leverage Facebook groups to grow your audience. We just talked to Josh and Jill Stanton on how to create micro offers to build an audience and list of customers. And then there's also a training that I did that I want you to have, because in this training, I talk about 2 super easy and effective list builders that you and I can create literally over a weekend. And I show you the list builders that we created in our business using these exact strategies. And then not only that, but I take you behind the scenes and I show you the landing pages, the opt-in pages for these exact list builders. I show you the stats in terms of how many people have landed on the page, how many people have opted in. And you're going to see that the conversion rate on a low end is 60%. And on the other one, it's even higher. So really, really high performing opt-in pages. And then I break down what makes those opt-in pages work so effectively. And it's not some whiz-bang technology. There are 3 key components to a high converting opt-in page. And that's exactly what I show you in that masterclass. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because this membership, Audience Builder Academy, it only opens a couple times a year. And it is open right now. And 100%, every single dollar from this membership goes directly to Village Impact. So there's a huge benefit to you because you're helping grow your audience. And in the midst of that, there's a huge benefit to a whole lot of kids over in Kenya through the work of Village Impact. So I share this with you because I want to encourage you to come and join us inside Audience Builder Academy. The other thing that I will share with you is that this week we are including a blockbuster bonus. Let me quickly ask in the comments, did you join us for our tribe workshop about a month ago? If you joined us for our tribe workshop, let me know in the comments. Say yes if you were there for our tribe workshop. When we did 3 trainings, a total of 6+ hours for our community. Were you there for it? Okay, I see Crystal was there, Tina was there, Peter was there, Mindy, Lynn, amazing. Stacy, Teresa, Tracy. Okay, incredible. Amazing. You guys are incredible. Thank you. Okay, so excuse me. That's something in the back of my throat. So if you were there for those trainings, you know just how valuable they were. And the number one question that we got asked once those trainings wrapped up and they were taken down was, where can I get the recordings? And we don't ever provide the recordings anywhere other than to our paid customers of our tribe experience. But if you join audiencebuilderacademy.com, we as a exclusive bonus are going to include the recordings of the workshop that we did just over a month ago. So it's a huge bonus. It's included free when you join Audience Builder Academy. All you got to do is go to audiencebuilderacademy.com, and each month, thank you, each month you are going to get a high-level strategy of a highly effective audience and list building strategy unpacked, where we break it down into detail so that you can immediately start implementing that yourself. And as I said, this is a practice that every single one of us, no matter where we are in our business journey, need to be doing on a regular basis anyway. And my question to you is, like, what's the value of literally just one new lead on your list? What's the value of that? What's the value of one high quality lead that then becomes a customer? I don't know, because I don't know what you sell. But what I know for sure is that the way to grow your business is to grow your audience. Because when you grow your audience, you grow your list. When you grow your list, you grow your business. So what I want to encourage you is to go to audiencebuilderacademy.com. Come join us for the membership. It's open until Friday, June 4th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. When you do, you're immediately going to get access to a variety of masterclasses that are waiting for you, from Pat Flynn, from John Lee Dumas, from Rachel Miller, from Thembi Becca, from Jabril Agoro, which that training, oh my gosh, for our advanced people who are much further along in your journey, that training is going to blow you away. It is a training on how he is growing his audience and how he has leveraged that to grow his membership from 0 to now 40,000 plus paying members. Would you like to know what he's doing on a regular basis to grow the membership to 40,000 plus paying members? That training is inside this membership. You'll also get the training that I did, where I unpack the 2 highly effective and super easy list builders. I show you exactly how those list builders have been created in our business. I show you the landing pages. I take you behind the scenes, show you the stats, and I walk you through what makes the opt-in page for those convert at 60% or higher. Plus, as a very special bonus, when you join, you're also going to get the recordings of our most recent Tribe workshop, where those recordings we took down the moment that the workshop was complete. You'll be able to get access to them inside Audience Builder Academy as a bonus. And the warm and fuzzy on top of all of this is every single dollar, 100%, goes directly to Village Impact to help support the projects that we have going on over there for those kids in Kenya. So you win, a whole lot of kids in Kenya win, and we make this world a better place in the midst of it. Teresa said, is somebody, if you got questions, let me know in the comments. Just say, type in question, then your question, and I'll be happy to answer it. I'm going to try to scroll through, see if there was any questions that came up. By the way, shout out to Kids Baking Club, whoever that is. Shout out. Love the fact that you launched your course yesterday. Congrats. Thanks, Leah. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. And so, yes. So the whole purpose of the each month is each masterclass, we dive into a specific strategy, one specific strategy to help you grow your audience. We're not loading you up with like a million different things that you can do. One new strategy per month. And the goal is to make it so darn easy for you to take what you're learning, implement it into your business to immediately begin starting to attract and grow your audience. And the goal is that there's never going to be one single strategy that's going to be the home run mecca that's going to, help us build an audience of thousands and thousands. But it's a combination. And in the beginning, you start with one. You just start with one. You pick the one that's going to be easiest for you to implement. And you build from one to the next one, to the next one. And you're incorporating different audience and list building strategies so that you maximize the momentum over time. The question is, great question. Are the master classes pre-recorded? Yes. So essentially, we pre-record. They are posted in the community. Then we also give you like an action plan for each of them. And then we actually follow up with a live Q&A with the person who led that masterclass. So as you are going through and you got questions, you make note of those. And then we do a live Q&A with that masterclass instructor. Peter asked, are all the ones I talked about available now? Yes, they are. And Peter said, what's the best one to start with? I'm a little bit biased. I would say start with mine. The only reason is because I walk you through 2 highly effective list builders, and then I talk about the way to structure your opt-in page to have a high converting opt-in page. And that's, to me, the basis for everything that you're going to do moving forward, right? Because there are strategies that you're going to hear about, like I was saying, from Pat Flynn and from Tracy Harris and from Thembi Becca and Rachel Miller, Josh and Jill Stanton. You're going to hear Russell Brunson. You're going to hear all these different strategies. They all essentially are different ways of which to grow your audience, but you still need that basis of either a free list builder or a paid offer, just like what we were talking about. So Russell Brunson, his training's a more advanced training as well. Same with Jabril's. And they talk more specifically about having a paid, front-end offer. Others talk about a free offer. So there's, again, a variety based on kind of where you're at. Lynn said, is there a schedule to follow? I'm not a binge watcher of pre-recorded content. I'd rather follow a planned schedule. Yes, definitely. So we have schedules in terms of like each month, we are doing a deep dive on a specific strategy. Lynn, what I would probably encourage you to do is I would go and watch one of the strategies. And then if you like the live component, just join us for the live Q&As because we do those each and every month. Lorraine says, going back to list building, what does the strategy plan page your traffic is sent to include? So when we were doing that, it basically, it's a little more complex, Lorraine, because we had people answer a couple questions, and then based on their answers, it formulated the plan based on how they responded. So it's a little more complex, but essentially it was a one-pager that gave them clarity about where they needed to put their focus in terms of like platform, frequency, and all that, and then how to map out their calendar year. So that was all done on one page. Heather said, "Is this month to month or for a set amount of months?" Yes, it is a monthly membership. If you wish to save $110, you can join us for the annual membership. So we do provide a discount for those who select the annual. But it is a month-to-month membership. And again, 100%, every single dollar goes directly to charity. And let me see. Thank you, Stacy, for posting the link. It is at audiencebuilderacademy.com is where you'll find all the details. Teresa said, this teaches us how to list of our, this teaches you how to grow your audience and your list. Yes, that's the focus of the membership, to help you grow your audience and your list. So each month we unpack essentially like a new strategy to do that. So Leslie said, question, how long does the course, how long are the course? So the master classes are anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. So 30 to 45 minutes. And then the live Q&As, again, similar 30 to 45 minutes. But again, everything is recorded. Everything is also searchable. It's using our platform searchy. I'm a little bit biased, but of course, I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread because it makes learning easy. But yes, it's all located so you can search through it. You can be able to be brought to the moment in the video where I'm talking about certain things or our guests are talking about certain things. So all the Q&As are recorded, all the masterclasses are recorded. So if you do miss it, you always have it available to you. Stacy said, I think the link might be broken. Let me just double check. Audience Builder Academy.com. I just checked, Stacy. It works. It's working for me, my friend. Maybe just try a refresh or check spelling. That sometimes is my downfall. Leslie said, I only have 70 followers. Is it suitable for beginners? Yes, Leslie, that's my point, is that no matter where you are in your journey, whether you are in the very beginning stages or you are much further along in your journey, building and growing an audience is something that you and I have to get good at. It is something that we need to invest in ourselves in, because if we don't have people to then be able to make an offer to. And if we can't make an offer, then we cannot grow the business. So yes, 100%. There are strategies there for certainly if you're in the beginning stages, certainly if you are more advanced, there are free strategies, there are paid strategies. That's one of the things that we focus on, is having a nice mix so that no matter where you are in your journey, again, there is going to be strategies and content that are super relevant and super effective for you. Seville says, will this help if someone is selling books? Seville, no matter what, point blank, growing your audience is the most effective way to grow the business no matter what you are selling. As we've talked about, if you don't have people to offer the books to, then how are you going to sell any books? If nobody knows about this amazing book that you've got, how are you going to sell it? So is it effective for that? Yes. Specifically though, Seville, when you get inside the membership, I want you to go and watch the masterclass with Russell Brunson. This is exactly what he talked about, is how to use the book to how to sell the book to grow your audience. And it was the first training we ever did. And he said something in that training which just like forever changed my perspective. He said that he has an unlimited marketing budget. Just camp out on that for a minute. He said, the strategy that I'm about to teach you will provide you an unlimited marketing budget. And I was like, tell me more. And that's what we unpacked. Therese said, how many classes are there already upon signing up? Do you have access to all the past content or just the current month? Therese, you have access to all the past content, which is why you need to go and sign up this week, because we only open a couple times a year. And this is one of those times. So I just encourage you to go register now, and you'll have access to Pat Flynn's session, Themby session, Jabril session, Tracy session, Russell session, my session, Josh and Jill. There's so many incredible sessions in there. Okay, so some of you are reporting that we had a blip and server was down, but now it's back up. So thank you, Jerica, for keeping us informed on that. Okay, so somebody asked here, I'm not sure who this is, but somebody said, questions to, will this help me figure out how to deliver useful content without giving out too much of my valuable information? My struggle is I give away too much for free. Well, I don't ever want you to worry about giving away too much for free. Never be worried about giving away too much for free. But what you do have to have is you have to have an intentional strategy to take whatever you are giving away for free to translate into building your audience, right? So what I would recommend is when you get inside Audience Builder, go check out the session that I teach. Again, I know I'm a bit biased, but my session, I specifically break down how to create 2 highly effective list builders that we've used in our company for the last 3.5 years. And so we've used these 2 list builders for the last 3.5 years. These are super simple to put together, number one. Number two, I bet you could probably have these put together by the end of this weekend. And number three is that your audience will love them. And I walk you through creating these 2 highly effective list builders. Then I walk you through how to set up your opt-in page so that it converts at a really high rate, like 60% plus. And I take you behind the scenes. I show you our stats. I show you our numbers so you can see it. And I talk to you about the 3 key components of that opt-in page that make that work so that you can replicate it for yourself. So that is where I would start. And that was for you, Leslie, is I'd focus on that, that training session. Sinclair said, how much time will it take per month to go through the content? Roughly about an hour a month. Not even. But I'll be extra generous and say roughly about an hour a month, but generally it's less than that. So the master classes, as I said, are typically 30 minutes to 45, but that's on the long end. Typically, they air much closer to 30. And then the live Q&As with our guests, if you attend those, are roughly about 30 to 45 minutes max. But again, those generally are much closer to 30 minutes. So that's why I'm saying it's right around an hour. Lisa said, I just joined. Well, thank you for that, Lisa. Awesome. I look forward to having you part of Audience Builder Academy. Our team will certainly be in touch with you. Stacy said, will you discuss the cost on this live? Yeah, I can discuss the cost. It's $55 a month, or it is, if you pay in full for the year, you save yourself $110, and it's $510 for the year. You can see all the details when you go to audiencebuilderacademy.com. But one strategy where we unpack it with the focus of helping you build your audience. And I don't know, I don't know what products or services you offer or memberships you offer or what the price points are or anything of that nature. But my focus is that every single month, I want to be intentionally doing something to grow my audience, because I know that the business can't grow unless the audience grows. I know that if I don't have people to sell to or make an offer to, then the business is going to come to a standing still, like a standstill. So if all it does is help you welcome 1, 2, 3 new customers a month from potentially the hundreds of new people added to your audience each month, is it worth it? Yeah, heck yeah, I'd say it would be. For sure, I say it would be. And so I just encourage you to come to audiencebuilderacademy.com. Come check it out. And you'll see the masterclasses are phenomenal. And then each month we continue to do a deep dive. And this is what's fun for me, is like exploring the different ways in which people are growing their audience. And sometimes it's just the little nuances that make a big difference. And I can't wait to see you inside. Leslie, awesome. Fantastic. Sinclair said, how can you not invest in audience growth while giving back? No brainer. Exactly. That's exactly it. It's like, it's a win-win for everybody, right? Like, you win because you're getting a detailed strategy of how to grow your audience each and every month. We all need to grow our audience. It's like a fundamental part of building a business online, right? Building a business online or offline. Like, if you got no traffic coming, like a friend of mine has got an offline business, and during COVID, like he was dependent on foot traffic, and during COVID, there was no more foot traffic, right? Nobody coming by his shop. So guess what happened? His business came to a screeching halt. And it's the same in any business. We all need traffic. Now, especially, obviously, online, because it's so much easier to be able to generate traffic when you have intentional strategies behind it. So I just want to encourage you, come join us. Go to audiencebuilderacademy.com. And I encourage you to do it before Friday, June 4th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because We only open a couple times a year. This is one of those times. So come join us. And I can't wait to see you on the inside. Jerome said, I joined earlier today. Already used some of Jill and Josh's ideas. Jerome, dude, that's awesome. Love hearing that. Fantastic. Dude, you get a gold star for, fastest implementer. And this is the whole goal, by the way, is just like, how do we break it down so that you can implement these strategies faster and easier? That's the responsibility that I have, that our Audience Builder Academy team has, is to break down what is being shared in a simple way that you can implement it in your business. Angel said, I'm not joining. I'll figure it out independently. It's not that hard. Well, you can do that. You can do that for sure. But here's the thing. Like, here's what's interesting to me about that comment, Angel. If you're not willing to invest in yourself and your business, why would somebody else invest in you and yours? It's like you're not in alignment with what you are wanting to see from your audience, right? Like it's counterintuitive to what or it's completely out of alignment with what you're wanting your audience to do. That's what is a little skew-whiffy about that thought process. Sinclair, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, Lisa said that's another great point, by the way. Lisa said, one of the reasons I was able to make a quick decision to join is because I know it will be simple to implement, especially in Searchy. And that is, you're going to see it's powered by Searchy. You'll be able to search through and find the things you need and come back to the things. Like as you're going through a masterclass and you're taking your own notes, you might be like, oh gosh, I want to go back to that point when Jabril was talking about this, or when Tracy was talking about that, or when Pat was talking, or when Thembi was breaking down the specifics of her Escalate method. And all you got to do is go and type in keywords, and you'll be brought to the moment in those trainings when they are talking about those things. And by the way, going back to the comment about like trying to figure it out on your own, one of the things about this is about speed. Can you figure it out on your own? 100%. But it's having to figure it out versus it being handed to you and knowing exactly what to do in the most effective way. It's about reducing the time. And Tina said here, which is a great point. She said, I've been trying independently to do this for over a year. And that's the point. It's like, it's about reducing time. And somebody said here, you're so right. We're asking our clients to spend money, and yet we're not willing to. Do you see where that's, there's alignment issues there? Yes. Thank you. Carrie from our team has just jumped on. She said, if you're having any questions whatsoever, then email hello@audiencebuilderacademy.com, and we can certainly help you figure out if you've got any challenges with signing up and so forth. So if that didn't work, let us know, and we'll certainly be able to help you out. hello@audiencebuilderacademy.com. All right, my friends. So I just encourage you, come join us. Registration for Audience Builder Academy closes on Friday, June 4th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As I said, when you join, not only will you get access to these incredible trainings where we focus on one specific strategy per month to help you grow your audience and grow your list. We unpack it. We give you the game plan. We have Q&As with the masterclass leaders. And then in addition to that, though, when you register, you are also going to get a monster bonus, which is the complete recordings of our tribe workshop, our public tribe workshop that we did. After each time we do the workshop, we take it down, and the number one question that we get afterwards is, where can I access the recordings? I want to access. We don't sell them anywhere. you can get them as part of your registration for Audience Builder Academy as a bonus. It's the only time we've ever done this. So in addition to all the amazingness inside of Audience Builder Academy, you're also going to get the recordings of the Tribe Workshop. So if you got any questions, so Susan, you had a question there. If you got any questions, I want you to email hello@audiencebuilderacademy.com. hello@audiencebuilderacademy.com, and our team will help you out and get back to you. Seville says she's in. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Stacy said, I'm in. Love it, buddy. Thank you for that. And I can't wait to see you on when I'm hosting the Q&As with our guests as well. So definitely make sure you come say hello and come join us. So with that, my friend, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Make it a great week. Bye-bye.